going to go, oh, did I hurt your oh, I'm sorry. I won't say that no more. I promise. Not! Ephesians chapter 2. And you hath he quickened. The word quick means to be made alive. You he quickened. He made you alive again. You're not dead anymore. You're alive. You've got life in you. How did you get that? You were dead in trespasses and sins. I mean dead. People, we are in the night of the living dead. That's the world that we live in right now. These people right now that are walking around that are lost are zombies. Everybody is a zombie. If they're not saved, they're a dead. They have corruption all over them. They stink, and they are dead. They're like Lazarus. 4 days. Would you like for me to go into a little detail about what happens after about 4 days? A body just lays there. My brother-in-law is the county coroner. He is also a trade embalmer. He has his own embalming place and crematorium and everything like that. And I have accompanied him a time or two to pick up, to do a service is what it is. And one time we were at a family get-together, and he got a call, and he looked at me, he said, "You want to go?" I said, "Why?" He said, "I might need a little help with this one." Poor old guy. He didn't have any family to speak of, no one. He just lived by himself in this house trailer in a trailer court out in western Jefferson County. And no one even knew he was dead. No one. Didn't have anybody. The neighbors. Oh, no. So they called the police. The sheriff's deputy shows up. He beats on the door, can't get anybody to come. He hears the TV on, and so he breaks into the house, and it doesn't take him long. He walks and just kind of looks back in the back bedroom and sees this black body. Now, this guy's not black. He's Caucasian, but he's already started turning black. And then he calls, they calls it in, and Robert, my brother-in-law, goes out, we go out, and the deputy says, "If you don't see a knife or a gun anywhere around in there or the evidence of an assault, I'm not going in there." I said, "Okay." So my brother-in-law spared me from most of it. But he actually took the bag in and put him in the bag, and then I helped him set the bag on the gurney. And, I mean, we had gloves and respirator, everything on. And he said, "Boy, I'm glad he had his clothes on." I said, "Why?" So maybe he's starting to come apart. And that's what happens. That's the decay, the destruction of the body after 4 days. This was Lazarus in the grave. That's why when Jesus said, "Take ye away the stone," they went, "Jesus, he's been in there 4 days." And I want to tell you something. The resurrection power of God is not hinged upon the state of the body. It's not. I love that. I love that God is more powerful than death and corruption. And so anyway, but the people that you and I know, because they're lost, they're dead, they're corrupt. They can be resurrected. The problem is most of them don't want to be. They don't want anything like that. Their soul doesn't want it. Their soul loves death. They love dead things. They love the corruption that they're a part of. And so if that's the case, he says in verse 2, "Wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world." This world has a course. Now, the course, I want you to listen to this, very important. The course that this world is on is walking toward being destroyed by the beast and the false prophet. That's the road that everybody's headed on. They're headed to the lake of fire. The beast and the false prophet facilitate this in the last days for everybody. It's just like they get like an instant ticket right into the lake of fire once they receive the mark. This is why it's called the second death, but this is why Jesus told the scribes and Pharisees, the Jews and their doctrines, the Hebrew roots doctrines, told them, He said, your whited sepulchres full of dead men's bones. And he said, you'll compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when you do, you've made them twofold the child of hell. You know what that means? They're twice dead. Just like was described of the false prophets of the last days. They are twice dead, which means they are totally beyond redemption. And they're walking around. That's the course of this world, is to get you twice dead. Is what it is. And so anyway, where in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince, the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. If you have the Holy Spirit in you, then you are a child of obedience. What is New Testament obedience? New Testament obedience is, I believe the gospel. And that's what Paul said. He said, Isaiah 53, who hath believed our report? He said, there are people who do not obey the truth of the gospel. How do you obey the truth of the gospel? You believe the report that God wrote. You believe what was written. You believe what God said. That's obedience. These people don't obey the Bible. Somebody, it's just amazing the stuff people was putting on Facebook today. Good job, people. You're watching. You're looking at what's going on. Apparently, Tony Jones made a cake for Jay Baker. Jay Baker is the son of Jim Baker. And Jay Baker is very pro-sodomite. Tony Jones now is too. Makes him this little rainbow cake. Oh, isn't it neat? These are children of disobedience. They are disobeying the Scriptures. And they call themselves Christians. And there is a spirit that works in them. And that spirit inspires them to do the things they do, to say the things they do, to write the songs that they write, to write the sermons that they write, to make the symbols and the objects that they write. And so here is a perfect example of that. This video, Planned Parenthood Golden Gate, that would be San Francisco. There's a clue right there, Sherlock. Presents a superhero for choice. Now, I'm not going to play this video because it is laced with imagery that really is not suitable for this program. Because we have youngsters watching this, and I like to keep it as G-rated as humanly possible. Because I love the fact that young people will watch our programs. That blesses my heart more than anything. God bless all you guys. You guys are awesome, dude. Okay? Your pastor said so. There are some images here that, well, there's one that I'm not going to show. I have it up here, but I'm not going to show it. Let me just go through this very quickly. The superhero for choice. It starts out with this liberal black lady. There she is on the right in her superhero costume. And she works for Planned Parenthood, and she is the superhero. And she's the only one who has any sense, because she believes that people should have a right to make choice, except, of course, people that are conservative Christians. They don't have a right to have a choice. But everybody else has. And really the choice that they're talking about is you have a choice to kill your baby. Why don't you should have a right to kill your baby. You should have that right. You should have that choice. Why is abortion such a hot topic amongst those who are lost, those who are liberal? Why is it that they get violent when you start talking about removing abortion from this country? You just see there's a spirit on them. Why? Well, number one, it's murder. It's a spirit of the devil was a murderer from the beginning. It's the shedding of innocent blood and all of that stuff, and that's part of it. But there's something else here. There's the course of this world here. The course of this world is leading the world right to the feet of the Antichrist to worship him. When I saw this in this video, and some of you had already seen it, and I'm going thumbs up to you guys, because the lady turns in. She was an agent for Planned Parenthood. And she's the good guy. I mean, she's the only one in the world that makes sense. So she's flying around with this jetpack on. There's a picture of the jetpack, and that's all I'm going to say about that. She's flying around with this jetpack on, and she sees 3 teenagers. school-age kids, slightly pubescent. And she sees this evil guy. You see the evil hat and the evil face and the evil mustache, and he's saying that these things, these contraceptives, are a tool of the devil, and you must abstain. And so the superheroine flies in, takes the Christian guy, throws him into a trash can full of water, which is, that's really interesting. Because that's what Planned Parenthood does with your baby. Anyway, throws the Christian guy, the preacher, into a trash can full of water and slaps the lid down on him. They're gonna get rid of him. And she tells the three slightly pubescent children, "My name is Dionysus." It's a form of, like two goddesses, Diane and Isis, but it is the god Dionysus, or Dionysus. I'll tell you what Dionysus is in a little bit. If you don't know who that is, I'll tell you that. But she says, excuse me, pubescent children, I must move along because there's more work for me to do. And so she sees people, these zombie people, who are protesting out in front of a Planned Parenthood abortion mill where they kill babies and throw them into a trash can. But you see, that's good. What they're doing is good. That's choice. It's good to throw babies, unborn babies, into a trash can. That's good for America. But you people out there exercising your constitutional rights by saying this is wrong, this is murder, this is sinful. You people, you're sick in the head. There's something wrong with you. You're what's ruining America. And this is what she deals with. And then she flies to Washington, D.C., and she sees a senator there who is he's got a copy of Roe versus Wade, and he's throwing it into a pot, and he's going to cook it up, and he's described as the senator who believes he can do anything he wants to and get away with it, even if it's law, which basically means he can be against Roe versus Wade. And so she takes the senator and picks him up and puts him into the pot. And when she pulls him out, he's like naked, like a pig, and got an apple in his mouth. And she's taught him a lesson. That's who Planned Parenthood is. They're the heroes of dead babies. Then this is where I picked up on this. She says, hold on now, I've got work to do. So she flies all the way over to Africa. She flies all the way over to Ethiopia, and she's talking to the Planned Parenthood doctor who she trained in San Francisco. She trained this liberal doctor to work in clinics in Africa. Now, this to me, when I saw that, I'm going, wait a minute. Isn't that interesting? And why Africa?